Hello everyone! In this video we're going to look at the new features and improvements that Microsoft is introducing on Windows 11 version 22H2. This is the first feature update of Windows 11 and it is a significant update that brings mostly visual enhancement to make the desktop experience more consistent. And of course, we have a bunch of new features. The update is expected to release during the second half of 2022. But remember to check the video description to get updated information about the release date and the steps to get this new feature update. Okay, let's dive into the new features and changes coming with version 22H2. First, we're going to look at the start menu changes. In this new version, Windows 11 is adding new ways to customize the recommended section, which is this one right here. Although it is still not possible to disable or remove the feature completely, you can now choose from 3 different options to control the amount of recommended items that appear on this section. And you can change the behavior of this feature by going to the Settings app, more specifically to the Start page, where you're going to find the new layout settings. And here you're going to find 3 options. When you choose the More Pins option, you will notice that now only a single row of items appear on the recommended section and allows you to show the most pins on the top area. The default option shows 3 rows of recommended items, and if you want to show more recommendations, it will add a 4th row on the recommended section to show a total of 8 items on this section, and you're only going to get 2 rows to show pin items. Now when you right click the recommended header, you're not going to see a refresh option, and it's the same as possible by right clicking the More Items button. As part of the Power Menu settings, Windows also adds a quick access button to open the Sign-in Options settings page. On the All Apps list, the Windows Ease of Access folder has been renamed to Accessibility, Windows Terminal has been renamed to just Terminal, and the Windows Media Player, more specifically the Legacy version, has been renamed to Windows Media Player Legacy. But apparently I don't even have it installed on this computer. No, it's right here. Windows Media Player Legacy. Another big change on the Start menu is the ability to create folders. So now you can drag and drop an app on top of another to create a folder. You can drag as many apps as you want to group them together in that folder. Once you click the folder, it will open and you can rearrange the items, and you can even choose a name for the group. Of course, you can create as many folders as you need. If you want to delete a folder, just drag all the apps out of the folder and then the folder will be deleted automatically. Now let's jump into the changes for the taskbar. On version 22H2, you can now drag and drop files and apps to the taskbar. So let's say that you want to open a specific file with an app that is already running on the taskbar. You can just simply drag the file, drag it over the icon on the taskbar, and then just release the document and it will open on that specific app. This feature was previously available on Windows, but it was removed on Windows 11 and now it's coming back on version 22H2. Also, you can now drag and drop items from the Start menu and pin them on the taskbar. However, it's not possible to do that from the Pin section or the Recommended section. This is available through the All Apps list. Let's say that we want to pin this application, and so we just drag and drop it where we wanted to pin it. In the system tray, the cast icon will now appear in the tray to indicate that you're casting to another device. The battery icon has been updated to use a lightning bolt when it's charging instead of a power cable, and when you hover over the battery icon, the tooltip will now show the estimated battery life. Furthermore, you can now hover over the volume icon, and using the scroll wheel up and down, it will allow you to increase or decrease the volume. And the tooltip for the volume icon now shows when you use a special sound. if you have multiple languages installed on Windows 11, the keyboard layout flyout has also been updated to include an acrylic background, and it also improves the overall performance. According to Microsoft, as part of the quick setting changes, on computers that have more than one color profile, it will now be possible to switch between these profiles using the new color profile menu, as you can see it right here on the image. However, when I open the quick settings on my computer, I don't see that option. And if I go to the settings app, we can see that I have multiple color profiles. In addition, when clicking the Bluetooth option in the flyout on quick settings, you will now enter in a new page where you can view the devices paired to the computer. And in here, you also find the settings to connect and disconnect devices. And on devices that support the feature, you will see their battery status right next to them. Other changes that you're going to find on quick settings is that when you right click the Bluetooth button, you will find an option to open the Bluetooth settings. Also, this icon right here, it's new, and it will now make it clear that you can click the button to access this page to control the sound output. And the keyboard layout button is no longer available through quick settings. However, if you have multiple languages installed on the computer, you will still be able to access by clicking the language button, and that will bring up the keyboard layout flyout. In Notification Center, the feature improves the visibility of the name for the apps in notifications, and the toasts have also been updated to use the acrylic background to match the design language of Windows 11. Also, Focus Assist has been renamed to Do Not Disturb, and the button has also been updated with a bell icon. At the bottom, in the calendar section, the focus option allows you to start a focus session using the clock app that helps you to stay focused on the task that you're doing. You will see the timer right on the screen, and you can also expand it to update or see more information. On version 22H2, Windows 11 is also updating the system hardware indicators, such as for volume, airplane mode, camera, and many others. So now if you use, for example, the keyboard to increase or decrease the volume, you will now see a new interface that matches the design language of Windows 11. When you right-click the Start button, this entry right here has been updated to reflect the new name for the page that opens that entry. Furthermore, if you have the Windows terminal installed on the computer, you will see the terminal entries. For any reason you don't have the Windows Terminal application, you will see the Windows PowerShell entries instead. In this new version, when using Snap Assist, when you hover over an app that belongs to a group, the Snap Group preview will now also show part of the desktop background to make it easier to identify the group. And you will see the group on the taskbar or when you are in task view, as you can see it right here. Furthermore, if you have a configuration with more than one monitor, when using task view, the background using the semi-transparent material will appear on all displays. And if you're using the Alt-Tab shortcut, the experience will not appear in windowed mode instead of a full screen mode. And the highlight has also been updated to make it easier to see what window is currently selected using the color of the color scheme that the computer is using at that time. As part of the Snap Assist improvements, in addition to the tweaks for Snap Groups, Microsoft is also adding a new way to snap windows into Snap layouts for both touch and mouse. So now you can drag a window to the top of the screen to reveal the new drop-down to continue with the snap layouts. Then you just need to drop the window and the zone that you want, and then Snap Assist will continue guiding you to finish the snapping. Also, when resizing a snap, you will now see the corresponding icon on the top of the acrylic background for the app that is not active. Furthermore, Snap Assist Now we'll show the 3 more recent tabs of Microsoft Edge as suggestion. As you can see, I have 3 open tabs and I'm snapping this one, and the other 2 are part of the suggestions. Lastly, now when you use the Windows Z keyboard shortcut, you will notice that the layouts are numbered to make it easier to continue doing the snapping with the keyboard. So for example, to snap this window, I can just type 1 and then select the zone that I want to snap this window. In this case, I'm just going to type 2. And if I have different windows, I can continue with Snap Assist to snap the other window. On Windows 11 version 22H2, it is now easier to move the cursor and windows between monitors by letting the cursor jump over areas where it would previously get stuck. The behavior is controlled by this new option called Easy Cursor Movement Between Displays. It comes enabled by default, but if you have a multi-monitor setup, you can open settings, more specifically on the display page, and under multiple displays, you can turn this on if it is not already. And that will make it easier to just move the cursor and windows between the displays. Finally, Windows 11 also made changes to the snap options under system multitasking, as you can see right here, to help simplify them and make them easier to understand. Finally, as part of the taskbar settings changes for version 22H2, on the taskbar page, under the taskbar behaviors, you will find a few new options, including the ability to disable the flashing taskbar when an app requires your attention, and there is an option to disable the recent searches when you hover over the search icon. This one's right here. Also, if you use the Windows search feature from the taskbar, you also notice that there is a new visual indicator that lets you know when a window is being shared. Windows 11 version 22H2 also comes with a new version of File Explorer with new features and improvements. For example, File Explorer now introduces a new homepage experience. The page is technically the classic quick access page, but with a different name, new icon, and some tweaks to make it different. For instance, Frequent Folders has been renamed to Quick Access, and now it includes your pinned folders, which can include the known folders and also any other pinned folder that you might have on the list. In my case, I have these 2 folders that I pin on the side, and now they also appear on Quick Access. The Favorites section holds all your pinned files, and the Recent section includes all your recent access files that are locally stored on the computer or in the cloud. Also, these files are searchable even if they're not locally stored on the computer. If you use a Microsoft account or an education or work account, your favorites and recent files in Office.com will also appear on the homepage. Also, any files that you pin or unpin from the homepage that are located in OneDrive, SharePoint, or Teams, the changes will sync and reflect on your Office apps in Office.com. File activities will also sync and appear in the tile view and the details tab. File Explorer also has a new OneDrive integration. So the next time that you go to the OneDrive folder, on the top right corner, you will notice a new drop-down menu that allows you to confirm if the files are syncing to the cloud, and you also have an overview of the storage usage. You will also see some other options, including a link to get more storage, and there are options to access the recycle bin, the settings for the client, and an option to open OneDrive in the web browser. This new version also brings some improvements to the context menu system. For example, when you right-click an item, you will notice that the highlight now includes more padding, and the selection now uses a lighter or darker color depending on the system color mode instead of the blue color. Also, the icons for properties, optimize, and rename has been updated, so they're easier to understand and find. When you right-click a file, you will also find a new option to add it to your favorites in the home page. Also on the This PC page, when you open the See More menu, you will now find there is a new option to connect to a media server. Also, when you right click the This PC item on the left pane, you will find a new option to expand, add a new network location, map a network drive, or disconnect the network drive. In the past, you needed to right click the file and then click the Show More Options, or use the Shift F10 keyboard shortcut to open the classic context menu. But now on version 22H2, Microsoft added a new shortcut, is using the Shift key alongside the right click to open the classic context menu directly. Also in this version, Microsoft is updating the context menu for the recycle bin to use the new modern design. In this new version, you will also notice that preview for folders are back. When sharing a local file in File Explorer to Outlook, it is now possible to compose an email directly from the share experience, as you can see it right here, without having to actually open the Outlook app. However, you will need to install the Microsoft Office Outlook Desktop Integration app from the Microsoft Store for the feature to work. This new version of Explorer also includes a few changes for the file option settings. For example, under the General tab, now it's possible to change the startup page to the new home page and also to the OneDrive folder, as long as you're signed in with a Microsoft account. Also under privacy, there is a new option that allows you to enable or disable to show files from office.com. And lastly, you can now select a file or folder on Windows 11, and then when using the Control-Shift-C, you will be able to copy the path of that item. So as you can see right now, I just did that keyboard shortcut and it copied the path for that specific file. During the process of recording this review, Microsoft decided to release an updated version of File Explorer that finally brings tabs and a new navigation pane. So I'm adding this part after I recorded the entire review, and that's why you're going to see some part of the video with File Explorer with tabs and other parts without tabs. Tabs for File Explorer works like the experience in the browser. Instead of having multiple instances of the app, you can now use one instance to navigate multiple folders and drive locations. When you open the File Manager, you will now see at the top that we have a plus sign button that allows us to create a new tab that always defaults to the startup page of File Explorer. You can always browse different locations from the tab. If you go to a different folder, you can right click an item, in this case a folder, and open that into a new tab. You can move the tabs around, but you cannot drag it out and try to open a different instance. You can right click a tab to find the options to close it. You can have this option to close all the other tabs but the one that you're currently on. Or if you have multiple tabs, you can right click and select to close those tabs that are on the right and keep all the other ones on the left open. You can now also use the Control W keyboard shortcut to close a tab, and you can use the Control T keyboard shortcut to open a new tab. File Explorer also comes with a new redesigned navigation pane, as you see on the left side. The new visual changes provide an easy access to pin and frequently used folders, and the OneDrive item will now show the profile name of the user that is logged in. Also, the known folders such as documents, downloads, music, pictures, and others would no longer be displayed under this PC to keep the view focused on the drives. Windows 11 version 22H2 also includes a new task manager that matches the design language that we're seeing across the desktop. This includes a new design bar, and a new settings page that allows you to control different settings, including the startup page, the speed for real-time update, Windows management, and other options. Also, each page includes a new command bar at the top that gives you access to everyday actions, including to run a new task or end that task. And also the new app includes support for the dark theme and color accent. As you can see, the heat map now adapts to the color system mode. However, in some cases, you will see the default blue color if the color that you have for the system mode is not readable for the application. You will see that for the Processes tab and also for the App History tab, and I think that's it. Oh, and for the Users tab. Task Manager also includes a new efficiency mode feature that will come in handy when you notice that an app is consuming high resources and you want to limit its consumption, allowing the system to prioritize other apps. So if you want to use efficiency mode, you simply need to select the app or the process, and then you can right-click on it and select the efficiency mode option. Once it's turned on, you will see this icon to indicate that that particular application is using efficiency mode. You can always right-click on it and check the option again to disable the feature. Just remember that you can only use efficiency mode on a single process and not to the entire group of processes. If the option is grayed out, it means that this is a core Windows process, and throttling it might affect system performance. Windows 11 now has an updated print dialog with a new interface that matches the new design language, and it can now discover network printers automatically. So if you select a printer that was never installed on your computer, the system will add it automatically without you having to open the settings app. So basically the dialog still looks the same as before, but just the design style has been updated. As you can see, now we have rounder corners and the design that matches the new interface on the desktop. In addition, there is a redesigned version of the Print Queue app that also matches the new modern design of Windows 11. The app also has easier to use visuals that make it easier to view and manage print jobs. As you can see, now you have a preview and information about the printer, and right now the printing job has failed because the printer is currently offline. You also have a drop-down menu that allows you to select from different printers that you may have installed on your computer. And from here you can pause, resume, or cancel all print jobs. Or you can also right-click a specific job and access the settings to do exactly the same thing. Also, in the lock screen, the accessibility flyout has been updated to also align the modern design principles that we see on Windows 11. Windows 11 version 22H2 also updates the media controls that appears on the lock screen on supported apps, using a similar design as the media controls available through the quick settings flyout. However, this control will always use the dark color mode to match the lock screen environment. As usual, the next version of Windows 11 also includes an updated version of the Settings app that has new features and improvements. For example, the app now improves results when searching for settings, and the icons from the navigation pane has been increased to make it easier to see and understand. You will also find links to find different programs to give your computer a second life or recycle it. And on new installations, Storage Sense will be enabled by default. However, if you are doing an upgrade, your settings will be preserved. Another visual change that you are going to find in this new version of the Settings app is that the settings are now aligned to the center. Before they were aligned to the left. Just to compare, let me just show you that this is how the page layout looks on the original release of Windows 11, and this is how the settings are aligned on version 22H2. Now let's dive into the most specific changes with the Settings app. On the display page, on a multi-monitor setup, when clicking the Identify button, this visual aid now has rounded corners to match the design language of Windows 11. On supported hardware, the display calibration will now be directly available on this page rather than having to go to a separate page. Because the display that I'm using right now is not HDR, that option is not available. Under the multiple displays section, you will now find this new option that is enabled by default, and this is going to make it better to move the mouse in Windows to a different display by letting you jump the cursor over areas where previously it will get stuck. So if this option is disabled on your computer and you have a multi-monitor setup, it is best to leave it on. Inside of the graphics settings, more specifically on the default graphics settings page, now you will find this option, which is a new feature that has been designed to improve latency and unlock other existing gaming features, including auto HDR and variable refresh rate. Latency improvements can benefit all gamers, from improving your input lag to creating a composite edge in your gaming experience. On the sounds page, you will now see a warning when the microphone access has been restricted by your privacy settings, and you can click this option to jump into the microphone privacy settings to update the settings accordingly. In the notifications page, the focus assist settings now become do not disturb, and you can now control the feature using the turn on do not disturb automatically. In here you can set the schedule when to turn on and off the feature. You can even repeat that daily, during weekends or weekly. And you also have some rules that you can enable or disable. These are pretty much the same as the one in previous version of Windows. However, this is a new rule available with version 22H2, I believe. Also, the set priority notifications allows you to choose which notifications are permitted while the do not disturb feature is turned on. You can set it for calls and reminders or specific apps. On the focus page, the setting has been reorganized to integrate with focus sessions, and you can now configure the features that you want to have enabled or disabled during a session, including timer, badges, flashes for apps in the taskbar, and to enable do not disturb when you're using focus sessions. From here you can also start a new session and you can change the duration, and if there is anything below 15 minutes, the increments will be 5 minutes for each click. On the power settings, the default values for screen and sleep has been reduced to save energy and carbon emissions when the computer is idle. Windows 11 will also offer power saving recommendations, as you can see right here, to those with the settings set to never. On the storage page, more specifically on storage spaces, the page has been updated to match the design language of the Settings app, and you also see new iconography. However, there are no new changes for the feature. Also, the disks and volume settings has been updated to match the design language of Windows 11 with new visuals, updated iconography, rounded corners, and more. However, only the style is changing, the feature is not. On the multitasking page, Windows 11 also made minor changes to the snapping options to help simplify them and make them easier to understand. This means that on version 22H2, you will now see 5 options and 3 of them are new. And these are the 3 new options. And this one in particular is the one that enables and disables the drag to the top of the screen to use snap layouts. Finally, the Alt tab settings is now called Show Microsoft Edge tabs when snapping or pressing the Alt tab, and the options are the same as before. As part of the Bluetooth improvements, Windows 11 will now remember if you turn on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi while in airplane mode. The next time that you use airplane mode, the radius will reflect your preferences. The printers and scanners page has also been updated, and it will now show more details about that printer or scanner. However, because the printer I have connected is not currently on, you will not see much information right here, but this is all the information that you will be able to see. Also, the phone link page has a new name to reflect that your phone app has been renamed to phone link. On the network and internet section, you won't find new settings for Ethernet and Wi-Fi. However, starting with version 22H2, Windows 11 adds support for discovery of designated resolvers or DDR, allowing the system to discover encrypted DNS from a DNS resolver known only by its IP address. If you have configured a VPN connection, when clicking the connection, you will now see more information about that connection. On Advanced Network Settings, the Advanced Sharing Settings page, it's new to Windows 11 version 22H2, and basically this page ports several sharing settings previously only available in Control Panel, including network discovery, file and printer sharing, and public folder sharing. So you can control all those settings from here, and you no longer have to use Control Panel. In addition, some entry points from network and devices settings in Control Panel will now open the settings app on this page. On personalization, the touch keyboard settings page has been renamed to text input, and the page has also been updated to expand the theme and customization settings to the touch keyboard, voice typing, emoji panel, and other input methods. The page has two parts, including theme and touch keyboard. The theme section includes 15 predefined themes that you can use for text input methods. The custom theme page allows you to create your very own theme for text input methods. You can even set a custom background image. As you can see, the preview has changed. So now if we want to preview the touch keyboard, you will see that it incorporates the background image that we selected. Pretty much all the settings are the same as before. The start page has also been updated to include this new layout settings that allows you to control the pins that appear in the menu. As I showed you before, you have three options. This one shows more pins on the top section. The default would just revert back to the default settings where we show more recommendation items, and you can show even more recommendations if you select this option, and that will bring the pin section to only 2 rows. On the taskbar page, under the task behaviors settings, you will find 2 new options, including show flashing on taskbar apps and show recent searches when I hover over the search icon. Also, the taskbar corner icons setting has been renamed to system tray icons, and the taskbar corner overflow has been renamed to other system tray icons. On the fonts page, everything remains pretty much the same, but Microsoft made some adjustments to improve the design of the page, including that the drag and drop area for installing fonts on the page is larger now. On the apps section, the apps and features page has been divided into 2 different pages, including install apps in Advanced App Settings. The Install Apps page now only includes the view for all the installed applications. You can always uninstall them from here, change the view, and the Sort By menu has also been updated to sort from the smallest to the largest files, and you can now even sort by name, Z to A and A to Z. Also, Microsoft has removed the Programs and Features page from Control Panel, which means that all the links will now point to the Install Apps page on the Settings app. The Advanced Apps Settings page includes the remaining settings that used to be part of the Apps and Features page, and nothing else is new here. In the Optional Features page, it is now possible to install and uninstall the Windows Management Instrumentation command line, or commonly known as the WMIC. On the default apps, when using the search box, as soon as you start typing, you will see a drop down with current results without even having to press enter. In the Accounts section, the Your Microsoft Account page has been removed, and all the information from that page will now be in the actual Accounts section, as you can see right here. So if you have a Microsoft 365 subscription, you will see the licensing information right here. Also at the bottom of the page, all the other information that was part of the Your Microsoft Account page is right here. And as part of the details, you will find your payment information, bill and details alerts, OneDrive storage usage, and the people you shared your account with. If you also have OneDrive, the storage usage will also show right here on this part of the page. The Family page, it's new to version 22H2, and it includes the settings that was previously available on the Family and Other People page. For instance, on this page, you will have quick access to the Family app only to create and manage family members and enforce parental control. In the Your Family section, you can create a new account for family members. Since the family settings are separated into a new page, the Family and Other People page has been renamed just to Other Users. And in here, that's where you can create different accounts for users using a Microsoft account, or when you want to create a local account. On Time and Language, you will see that the header has been updated, and now we have a clock with the time and information about the current selected options. If you go to the Date and Time page, you also see the same header with the same information. And in addition to this change, for standard users, it will now be possible to change the time zone if the location access is not granted. On the Language and Region section, there are no new features, but now when adding a new language, you will notice that we have an updated interface that aligns with the design language that we see today throughout Windows 11. On accessibility, the mouse pointer and touch page doesn't include new settings, but now the touch indicator is disabled by default. So if you need this option, you have to enable it manually. On Privacy and Security, the Find My Device page does not include new features, but now you will see more links to different help resources. On the Developers page, there are not new features, but the page has been completely reorganized to match the design that we see throughout the Settings app. In the past, it just looked like the version of the Settings app on Windows 10. On Windows Update, if it is available on your location, you will now see this notification right here, which is part of the new management feature coming to version 22H2. In this release, the system will try to schedule automatic updates during the times that will result in lower carbon emissions. For example, when more clean energy is being used, such as hydro, solar, or wind by the electrical company. Microsoft is working with different services, and if that data is available on your location, you will see this Windows update is committed to helping reduce carbon emissions message, which indicates that the feature is enabled on your computer. And on this page, the Windows Insider Program icon has been updated with a new design that represents the community. Perhaps one of the most significant updates to the Settings app is the ability to uninstall updates right from the application without the need to go to Control Panel. And to get there, you need to go to the Update History page, and then under Related Settings, you will see this new option to uninstall updates. So here you will see the list of the updates that you can remove from your computer. And if any of the update is causing problems, you can just click the uninstall button and then confirm the action, and that will remove the update from your computer. Of course, you might need to restart the computer to complete the uninstallation of the update. And that's it. Those were pretty much all the new changes that you will find on the Settings app for version 22H2. Microsoft is also working to improve the input experience on Windows 11. For example, some of the emojis have been updated based on feedback, including the smile with tear emoji. It also adds new items to the K-emoji section, and there are about 37 new emojis for this update. In addition, now on certain emojis, you will find a dot, like this one right here, that allows you to know if you can edit that entry to customize the color scheme and some other aspect of that particular emoji. Windows 11 version 22H2 also introduces a new feature called Smart App Control, which is this one right here. And it is a security feature that blocks untrusted and potential dangerous applications. If the feature is compatible with your device, you will need to configure it using the evaluation mode. While in this mode, the feature will try to learn if it can protect your device without getting on the way. If so, it will automatically enable itself. Otherwise, it will disable itself automatically. If you want to learn more about this particular feature, the setting includes a resource page that explains how everything works. Windows 11 version 22H2 also comes with live captions, which is a new accessibility feature that allows anyone to better understand audio by viewing captions of spoken content. The feature is available through the accessibility page, and on the captions page, you can turn on the feature with this option right here. And there is an initial package that you need to download, but because I already set this up before, it will open the feature directly. Version 22H2. As you can see, captions are automatically generated on the device from any content or audio. Caption can be displayed at the top or the bottom, or you can float it around by just changing the settings with this context menu. You can also resize the interface and you can move it around. Also, from the context menu, you have some options, including the option to get captions from the microphone audio. And you can also block inappropriate language. Also, from the captions page, you can change the style using these options. And you can even edit captions by going to this page and selecting the settings that you want to see for captions. Currently, live captions is only supported on English US content. That must be your display language on Windows 11. Also, you can use the Windows, Control, and L key to open live captions without having to go to the settings page. Also, you can enable the feature through the quick settings and go into accessibility and turning on live captions right here. Windows 11 version 22H2 also includes voice access, which is a new feature that enables anyone to control their devices using their voice. When using voice access, you can use voice to open and switch apps browse the web, dictate emails, and much more. According to Microsoft, voice access leverages modern on-device speech recognition to recognize speech accurately and is supported without an internet connection. The feature only supports the English US language, which means that the Windows displayed language should be set to English US, otherwise the feature may not work as expected. Also, voice access is available in the speech page inside of the accessibility section on the settings app, as you can see right here. And once you enable it, if this is the first time that you're doing it, you will need to download an extra package. Once the package has been downloaded, you can choose a microphone to use with voice control on Windows 11. The only microphone I have is connected to the main computer, and this is a virtual machine, so it's not gonna work for me to demo how this feature will work because it needs the microphone to be configured on the device. So I'm just going to show you that these are the settings available. You can choose the microphone, and you can also access the microphone settings. On the manage options, you can filter out some inappropriate words if you want, and you can turn on automatic punctuation. Also, if you're going to be using this feature often, you can select the automatic startup setting. This feature will turn on voice access every time that you turn on the computer, and the option to turn it off is right here. The feature also comes with an application that includes all the commands that you can use to talk to the computer, as you can see right here. And there is also an interactive guide that you can use to get started with the feature. You just need to follow through the guide to get started. And this will just open the same voice access guide with all the commands. When using voice access, you can also use your voice, or you can use the shortcuts like Alt-Shift-C and Alt-Shift-B to control whether the feature should be in listening mode or not listening. Once the feature is activated, you can say voice access wake up and unmute to get to voice access and start listening to you. If you say voice access sleep or mute, this will put the feature to sleep. Or you can say turn off microphone to stop the voice access from listening to you. Okay, so I was able to connect a second microphone on the computer, so that will connect to the virtual machine that I'm using. So let's test it out and see if voice access works. So the first command that I'm going to use is going to be voice access wake up. And as you can see, now the feature is listening to me. Open Edge 2. And as you can see, because I have different versions of Microsoft Edge, the feature asked me to choose which one I wanted to open. Now I'm going to try to open two different applications and switch between them. Open Settings, open Notepad, switch to Settings, switch to Notepad, maximize Notepad, minimize Notepad, close Settings. And that was a quick demo of voice access on Windows 11 version 22H2. Microsoft is also improving Narrator, and perhaps the most interesting addition is the ability to add natural voices to Windows 11. So now when you go to Accessibility, Narrator, you will now find a new option that allows you to add natural voices. And in total, there are 3 that you can choose from. You can select each one.
I am a high quality. Hello, my name is Guy. I am a high quality speech voice.
Hello, my name is Jenny. Hello, my name is Arya. I am a high quality speech voice.
That you can test before installing on your computer. There are even more improvements for Narrator on version 22H2, and I will be leaving a link in the video description to a comprehensive guide that includes all the changes for Narrator plus everything that's included on version 22H2. In this new version, you will also find a few new touch gestures to improve navigation across the desktop and apps. For example, swiping with your finger from the middle of the taskbar will now invoke the Start menu, and swiping back down will dismiss it. Swiping right and left from the pen will take you to the All Apps section, and from left to right will get you to the pin section. The same gesture also works with the recommended section at the bottom of the Start menu. Also, swiping with your finger from the bottom right of the taskbar will invoke Quick Settings, and swiping back down will dismiss it. Finally, Microsoft updated the animation when swiping to invoke and dismiss the notification center from the right edge of the screen so that it's more responsive and follow your fingers. Furthermore, in full screen mode, touch-oriented apps and games will now include a gripper, as you can see right here, that appears if you swipe from the edge of the screen. On this new version of Windows 11, Microsoft is also trying to update some of the legacy visual elements, more specifically the title bars, as you can see right here for the run command, control panel, and other legacy elements. Now they feature the mica material that shines the colors of the background right here on the bar, and if you move it around, if the background has different colors, those will be reflected on the title bar. And those were perhaps all the biggest improvements and new features available on Windows 11 version 22H2. In addition to what I just showed you, this new version also includes some under the hood changes. For example, similar to Windows 11 Home, the Windows 11 Pro Edition now requires an internet connectivity in order to set up the device for the first time, and you will need to use a Microsoft account. However, if you choose to set up the device for work or school, there won't be changes and it will work as it was in the past. In addition, you can now use Windows Hello facial recognition from an external monitor with the camera that supports the feature, even when the laptop is closed. As part of some additional networking changes, starting with version 22H2, Windows 11 introduces changes for the SMB compression algorithm. So if compression is requested, the file will always try to compress during network transfer. Also, Windows will once again allow TKIP and web connections, and it will continue to warn users to connect with a more secure technology such as WPA2 and WPA3, which is the current standard. In this release, Windows is also expanding dynamic refresh rate or DRR experience on laptops with 120 Hz displays. If you use BitLocker, version 22H2 now introduces a new policy to exclude USB removable drives from BitLocker encryption. The company says that this will solve the problem of automatic or accidental encryption or storage built into specialized devices, such as video cameras, video recorders, voice recorders, conferencing system, medical equipments, and more. Also in this release, the magnifier icon has been updated to have a modern look. If you use the Home Edition of Windows 11, the SNB1 protocol now ships disabled by default, as Microsoft plans to remove the binaries completely in future releases. As part of the boot experience, the startup will now show a progressive rain animation instead of the animated circle dots, as you can see on this screenshot. And on the out-of-box experience, when setting up the computer for the first time or when doing a clean installation of Windows 11, you will now find a new page during the process that lets you link your Android phone with your computer. And that's it. Those were pretty much all the new features and changes that you will find on Windows 11 version 22H2. Again, remember to check the video description for the link to get to the written guide on all the new features available on this release of Windows 11. Remember to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and I just hope this video was informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.